Thank you very, very much, please. I'd like to invite to the microphone to say the opening prayer has been instructed. Alhaji Bello Okerima. Please, sir, a round of applause as he comes to the microphone to say our opening prayer this morning.
Thank you very much. My professors in the house and other academics, the students, it's a pleasure for me to say this prayer. To God be the glory. We are here this morning for this very special occasion that has to do with knowledge. I pray Almighty Allah guide us, bless us, give us more wisdom and protection. Almighty God, let our youth learn how to follow the footsteps of our leaders, especially the righteous one. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim ghayril maghdubi alaihim. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause one more time for Alhaji Bello, the Vice Chancellor of this university, who is expected at this occasion. This is his mother department, even though he didn't obtain his degree from FUL. The Vice Chancellor is a historian and a very good one at that. Distinguished guest, may I invite to the high table first the lecturer. Please, sir, you will take the right seat. Very importantly, you will share the seat there, sir, so that others can come and join you. Put your hands together for Professor Edi Ali as he comes forward to take his seat. I'm aware that the former Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic has taken his seat. So where he is perfect so that he can see into the eyes of the lecturer this morning and be able to ask very serious questions. A round of applause for Professor MS Audu. I will now invite the Managing Director, ADP, Agricultural Development Program. Please, sir, Alhaji Bello, your seat is up here in the front. And while you're clapping your hands, I will also invite the Director of National Museum, Prof. Ewa. Please, could you kindly join them up here? Professor Alemo Thomas, I will ask that you come forward and share the high table. The middle seat will be left open. Yes, the middle seats will be left open. Thank you. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Thank you very much. And so we can make progress. Distinguished guests, particularly members of the Department of History, staff and students, ladies and gentlemen, we will go straight into the business of the day. And if I have your kind permission, I will invite to the microphone the lecturer for this maiden edition of Departmental Seminar, Professor Edi Ali. A round of applause as he comes forward. Please keep clapping until he gets here. Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my MC. He is the university PRO. Let me introduce him. Because he is introducing everybody and he needs introduction too. Yeah, he is the PRO, Federal University Lokoja. And so I beg him to come and serve as the MC for me. He's my Master in Leadership and Strategic Studies student, but he's convocating this year with his master's degree in Leadership and Strategic Studies. But his background is BSc Mass Communication. That is why he's doing well in the PRO duty. So, the Vice Chancellor, sir, Federal University Lokoja, Professor Olayemi Durotimi Akinwumi, Okay. Yes, thank you. His Royal Highness, the Baigari of Lokoja, Alhaji Muhammad Gambombe Karfi, the fourth, ably represented. He promised to be here. We are still waiting. Alhaji Bello Ogrima, the Managing Director, ADP, Kogi State. Professor Thomas Alemo, who is here on sabbatical from Federal University Lafayette, Department of Mass Communication, the Director, National Museum, Lokoja, amiable Professor Mohamed Suleiman Audu, former DVC and pioneer head of Department of History and International Studies, Federal University Lokoja, pioneer Dean of Student, Federal University Lokoja. Other professors here present. My beloved students, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the Department of History and International Studies is having the maiden edition of its monthly staff seminar series. Today, we are having a seminar on Lokoja. The topic is Lokoja. The title of our seminar is Lokoja, the Scientificy of the Theory of Origin, 1750-1854. The seminar is co-presented by Professor Anthony Danladi Ali, the current head of the Department of History and International Studies, University Lokoja, and his colleague, Mr. Jatto Adavize Emmanuel. I'll start with the abstracts. The objective of this study is to create awareness that the aborigines of first settlers, ethnic groups in Lokoja, namely the Oworo, the Basange, the Nupi, and the Hausa, coexist harmoniously. Statement of problem. The problem of this study is that each of the 4 Aborigine ethnic groups in Lokoja metropolis, the Oworo, Basange, Nupe, and Hausa, propose a theory of being the first Aborigine in Lokoja. Significance of the study. The study is significant because it contributes to the literature on the crucial issue of the ownership of Lokoja metropolis that makes some people to think that Lokoja is no man's land. Methodology. The study adopts historical methodology, analyzing primary and secondary data. Research questions. Some of the research questions in this study are, first, which of the 4 Aborigine ethnic groups in Lokoja own the town? Second, why is it that the Muslims are dominant in the rulership of Lokoja metropolis? The basic argument in the study. The basic argument in this research is the scientificy in the claim of first arrival of each of the 4 ethnic groups in Lokoja metropolis. So what we have done in this study is to subject the claim of each ethnic group to a scientific proof. And you'll be wondering, is there science in history? Yes, there is. And you'll see that later. Recommendation. The study recommends that the 4 Aborigine ethnic groups in Lokoja metropolis continue to cohabit harmoniously so that the city will keep expanding in commercial prosperity and administrative expediency. If there is no peace in Lokoja, if there is war, we will not be here. If there is war, FUI will not be here. If there is war, all of us will run away. introduction, Lokoja sprang up as a multi-ethnic town co-founded by the 4 ethnic groups, the Aworo, the Basange, the Nupe, and the Hausa in 1750, which prompted some people to think that Lokoja is no man's land. The geography of Lokoja. A.D. Ali 1991, in his master's thesis, University of Jos, wrote that Lokoja is situated in the middle belt of Nigeria. On the confluence of the rivers Niger and Benue, Lokoja is within the transitory zone between the forest in the south and the savanna in the north. The transitory position of Lokoja subjects it to a high variability of weather conditions. Temperatures are generally high. You can hear people complaining all the time. Whether it is raining season or dry season, people complain. It's too hot. Lokoja is too hot. Lokoja is too hot. That is their song. Even some relocate from Lokoja, they say, no, I can't stay here, it's too hot. Well, that is the geography of the town. Conceptual clarifications. 1, Lokoja. A.D. Ali 2015 explained that Lokoja has a dual meaning. First, it refers to the geographical area and peoples in Lokoja local government, which was created by an act of parliament on August 27, 1991. Second, A.D. Ali 2018 refers to the people and settlements of Lokoja town, Koton-Karifi district, which embraces all Eborakoto peoples, Aworo district, Kakanda-Kupa, and Egon districts. Names of quarters in Lokoja native town are as follows. Now, Lokoja started as a small native settlement by these 4 aborigines. Take note of that. However, the names of the quarters, well, in Hausa, that's the Ongwas. We call them Ongwas. We have the Ongwa power. That is the butcher's quarter, the butchers, where they stay. The Ongwa Hamza. It is derived from the name of the first Megeri of Lokoja, Hamza Musa Megeri, 1904-1905. Ongwa Yashi, derived from the name of the sandy area in Lokoja. So those who live in the sandy area will say Ongwa Yashi. We have the Ongwa Makera, that is the blacksmiths. They have a quarter where they stay. Ongwa Madabo, that is the scholars' quarter. Lokoja has one of the largest number of Arabic scholars. So they have a quarter where they stay. So Lokoja has produced reputable Islamic scholars. Ongwa Kura, it is derived from the name of the Menes of hyena. Those who live in that quarter, they were harassed by hyena constantly. That the hyena descend from Mount Patti to harass people at night. But they don't catch people, they catch their goats. Other Ongwas or quarters in Lokoja native town are Ongwa Makafi, that is quarters of the blind. Ongwa Kabawa, that is the quarters of fishermen and wood splitters. Ongwa Rimi, that is the quarter where you have large number of Iroko trees, where I was born. Ongwa Masara, where you have the corn sellers, they reside there. Ongwa Munchi, that is the area where you have the thief people from Benue State. They came as migrant labor, and the Megeri gave them that area to live, 1923. They were mostly night soil men, that is, they carry toilets. They wear mascara at night and go and carry toilet. In those days, you dig a pit and put buckets. So when the bucket is full, you call the thief people. They are very industrial, very hardworking. They go and carry it at night and throw it in the river Niger. So that's why they gave them quarters to live, because people were not ready to give them houses to rent because they carry shit. Although that is history anyway. Sarkin Noma, that is the farmers' quarter where the farmers live, where that is before Natako on the express. Company, the company area. Company is in Hausa company. In the past, you have a large number of warehouses along the river Niger, where you call Kwata today, from Kwata up to Marine Dockyard. You have big warehouses owned by John Holt, the UC, and so on. So they say company area. Then you have the Kantimeti, Cantimeti is a result of the activities of European companies. The place where the Royal Niger Constabulary, Nigeria Army started from Lokoja. The Royal Niger Constabulary was the small army started by the Royal Niger Company. The army was used to capture the whole part of northern Nigeria. It was from there they established the West African Frontier Force, the first army in Nigeria. River Niger. According to the medical report, volume 1, 1959, it's an official publication. You go to NIWA, you see it there. It's a very big. We have volume 1 and 2, but we are citing volume 1 here. Volume 1 refers you to the River Niger. It gives a description of the River Niger. The River Niger takes its source from Mandara Mountain in Futajalon in the Gambia. A.D. Ali 2010, in his doctoral researches at the University of Lagos, state that River Niger flows into the Nigerian territory from Yelwa in Sokoto State down southward up to Lokoja, where it's joined by its biggest tributary, the River Benue, and flows down to the open sea at Urutu and enter the Atlantic Ocean with many mouths. The River Niger, you can see on the table there. On the table there, you see the River Amazon. It's 4,160 kilometers long, the longest river in the world. Next is the River Nile in Africa, 3,800. The River Yangtze in China, 3,470. The River Congo, 2,920. The River Misor, 2,900. The River Huanghe, that is also in China, 2,880. The River Mekong, 2,610 kilometers. And now our River Niger, 2,550 kilometers. So the first, on the table, you see the first 20 biggest rivers in the world. River Niger is the 8th biggest river in the world. It is the 2nd biggest river in Africa. It is the biggest river in West Africa. It is the most economically viable river in Nigeria. It was from the River Niger that the name Nigeria was derived. Nigeria started from Lokoja, here in Lokoja. The people living along the Niger area, that is Nigeria. So the River Benue is not among the first 20, but people play politics and they say, when you talk of River Niger, also mention River Benue. I say, no, you are introducing politics. Leave politics out of it. Scientificy. In this study, scientificy is a universal phenomenon, occurrence, or incidence widely acclaimed as having a proportional degree of truth. Scientificy is objective fact or truth. What is history? History is also objective fact or truth. In history, we teach our students objectivity. Scientificy. History is a critical study of totality of past human events within time and space. Science cannot lay claim to knowledge of nature, purpose, and meaning of existence. Major weakness of positivist school is the gap created between the natural science and others by diminishing the role of intuitive reasoning. Scientificy. Scientists of the 19th century were notorious in their approach to scientific methodology. Science is basically critical study of the physical world, largely by observation. So why the science study objects and physical world? In history, we study human being, past and present, the totality of human being, a critical study of the totality of past events within time and space and by objectivity. So that is why in some courses in history, like economic history, you can't write a paper in economic history without a table, and you can use the table to plot your graph. So science should stop claiming the monopoly of knowledge. Now, the scientificy rests on availability of evidence, which is also history. Scientificy rests on abundance of evidence, which is also history. If you ask our project students, they will tell you, you must go and interview people. We don't talk to wood, we don't talk to tree, we talk to human being. So human being is our own experiment. Scientificy is also consistent, persistent evidence. I came to interview you. You told me you are 59. The next time I came, you say you are 39. Where is the consistency? Even in court, we look for evidence. In court, we look for consistency. Just as in science also. Scientificy is objectivity of evidence. Scientificy is reliability of evidence. Our student, postgraduate student who come to defense, you ask them, they will tell you, is this your information reliable? You will go back to the field. So some of them will make them to go back to the field. So you go back to the field many times. Scientificy is practicability of evidence. Scientificy is historicity of evidence. So this is where we situate history as science, and this is where we want to establish the Faculty of Historical Sciences. The peoples of Lokoja, one, the Aworo. A.D. Ali 2004 assert that the Aworo were the first ethnic group to settle in Lokoja on Mount Party. However, Party is a Nupe word for hill. Are you finding the scientific now? You settle in a place, you are the first. But the place is called a name, and it's not your name. It's okay. However, the Aworo, they fled. The Aworo fled Mount Party to their present location, Agbaja Plateau, as a result of incessant raid by armed Nupe slave raiders of King Masaba Obida. Howard Peters, 1960, state that when Dr. Balfour-Beatty David arrived in Lokoja in 1854, he met an Aworo chief, Chief Meniha, on Mount Party and convinced him to descend the hill to join the Hausa Nupe group already at Lokoja. So it goes that the Aworo fled. However, a minority of them were still at Party and headed by Chief Meniha. When Dr. David arrived, Becky arrived in 1854, he convinced him to descend the hill, to settle at the foot of the hill. See, today, the compound is there, and that compound is called Salam Aleikum compound. And his great-grandchildren are there. But when they descend the hill, they met, there were people there already. The Hausas and Nupe were already there. Second, the Basange, A.D. Ali 2012, and also Kaba Province Annual Report, that's from the archive, I have the document, 1910, state that Basange formerly cohabits Mount Party with the Aworo, but fled across the River Niger to the eastern bank to settle at Woloko due to incessant slave raid by Nupe armed slave raiders of King Masaba of Bida. So today, Boloko is the political and spiritual home of the Basange people. Interview with Chief Eyitaga, former ward head, Kabawa. He died at the age of 92. In 2018, he stated that after the British administration had restored peace to Niger-Benue Confluence area, the Basange, some of the Basange returned to Lokoja and resided in Adankolo area. See, today, if you go to Adankolo, you find out that the Basange are there. They are dominantly there. That is where they live. So that is their own quarter. Adankolo is their own quarter. But when they came back, because the British have restored peace, when the British came, they found out that there was no peace. King Masaba was using his army to terrorize the peoples of the Niger-Benue Confluence and raiding them as slaves. The British had to pacify. They had to beg King Masaba by supplying him ammunition and giving him money to pacify him. So King Masaba held sway in the area. I refer you to Professor A.R. Mohammed, Islam in Central Nigeria, with particular reference to Lokoja, Okene, and Igala land. If you read that book, you find that the Masaba held sway in the Niger-Benue Confluence area. It was not the Ata of Igala, as earlier claimed. If you go to the museum, you see it. They pasted it there, Ata of Igala bought Lokoja. It was not true. He bought it, yes, but not up to a year, the British discovered that there was a more powerful hegemonic paramount king that even the Ata himself was afraid of. They had to pacify him. Otherwise, he would drive them away. They pacify him by supplying him arms and giving him money so as to allow peace to reign, that they can do their trading business peacefully. The Nupe, A.D. Ali 1991 wrote that the Nupe and Kakanda ethnic groups traded along the banks of the River Niger at Lokoja, but came to establish permanent settlements at Lokoja after King Masaba of Bida's forces had captured and occupied the area long before the arrival of the Europeans. It's okay. They were trading. Yes, it's true. But the earlier report say the Nupe slave raiders, you recall the other slide, were terrorizing. They didn't say they were trading. Yeah, they were terrorizing the people. They stationed, in fact, they had a garrison in Kosonkarfi. Garrison is army barrack. They stationed their garrison where they terrorized the people of the Niger-Benue Confluence up to Kukurukulan, that is Auchi Jatto. They were capturing those people as slaves until the British came. Interview with Mohammed Mayaki, 1988. He opined that the word Lokoja was coined from Ilukongi, Ilu meaning town and Kongi meaning doors. Literally, this means the town with many doors. Naturally, Lokoja has many doors. The Lokoja native town. You don't need to breed doves. They come to your house, and then you can now domesticate them. They just fly everywhere. Naturally, Lokoja has many doors. So, Ilukongi, that is a town of many doors. Now, the Hausa. E.D. More, 1968, wrote that the Hausa came to Lokoja during the East-West Transverse Cola trade. A.R. Mohammed, 1987, wrote that it was through this trading connection that many Hausa people came to settle permanently in Lokoja. Loko Goma, it's not Loko. They used to say Loko Goma. No, it's Loko. That's my 10. Was a rendezvous. A rendezvous is a resting place when they are on their way to Ghana to buy cola. Ghana, Akure, Ondo, they buy cola nuts and take it to the north. It was a resting place for the Hausa in Lokoja. So the Loko Goma is Hausa word. Mile 10, they stay there. Sarkinoma is Hausa word. The farmers, they stay there long before the British came. So this cola nut trade go back as far as 1750, 1650. That is those of you who study history. Trans-Saharan trade. You know the history of the Trans-Saharan trade from 1250 AD up to 1750. AD Ali 1991 states that some Hausa came to Lokoja when the British, in the conquest of Nigeria, deposed and sent some emirs on exile to Lokoja between 1887 and 1906 from Bida, Zongeru, Bauchi, Kano, Kotangora, Sokoto, and other northern towns. The emirs refused to cooperate with the British. They refused to be subjugated. They came in battle, but because of the British armory, they were defeated, and they were all deported and exiled, sent on exile to Lokoja. So their great-grandchildren are here. It is like the blacks in America. You can't tell them to go to any part of Africa. They are Americans. So don't tell the Hausa man, go back to your Hausa man. Where do you want him to go? He doesn't even know his origin. So he belongs to Lokoja. Interview Prince Zubero Godobe Meikarfi of the Megari Palace in 1988 state that some Hausa settlers in Lokoja were scholars of great repute and ulama who accompanied emirs, deported, and exiled to Lokoja. Now, this emirs that were sent on exile to Lokoja, they came with their wives, their children, their families, and large number of Arabic scholars. Lokoja has some of the best Arabic scholars in Nigeria, and they have some of the most powerful malams, for those of you who want to patronize them. So, yes, Boko Haram is here, but they are very quiet, but they know every one of you. So you see now, the earlier stream came on account of trade. Even before the 1750, they are here. Then the next stream came as a result of the British conquest, as a result of the emirs that were deported. Now, we can go on excursion. You will see their graves, which is still being preserved by the Lokoja local government. Their graves are still there. All these emirs, their graves are there. If you want to see them. Table 2, population of Lokoja ethnic groups, 1935. You all know that as at 1935, the British were the head sway, we were being ruled by the British. On this table, you can see that the Hausa-speaking people have the largest. The British were addressing us as natives. I don't know whether it's still being used as natives. The natives is derogatory. It's a natives. That is people that are low, they are backward, you know. But Howard Pedraza, 1960, wrote that when John Lander and Richard Lander enroute the Atlantic Ocean, the first white people to step foot on Lokoja, two brothers, John Lander and Richard Lander, en route to the Atlantic Ocean, September 1830. They stopped over at Lokoja. The photograph is there. They wrote, we saw Mohammedans in white flowing gowns. We saw Mohammedans. It's in the archive. I have the document. We saw Mohammedans in white flowing gowns. Who are these Mohammedans? Are they Igbos? Are they Yorubas? Are they Taho? No, they are Nubes and Hausas in white flowing gowns. See, today, the people of Lokoja, they wear white. They wear flowing gown when they have ceremonies, occasion. That is their traditional dress. So table 2 is the population of Lokoja ethnic groups as at 1935. On this table, we can see that the Hausa-speaking natives or people, they have 2,388. The Nupe-speaking people have 2,153. The Yorubas have 502. When we say Yorubas, it's combined. Whether you are from Ondo, Owo, Akure, Ikare, Akoko, or you are from Okun, some of them are even from Lagos. In Lokoja here, we classify them as Yorubas, Yarabawa. Yes, that is the plural. So there are 502 as at 1935. Then the Igbira-Koto from Kotonkarifi, there are 421. The Igbira Okene or Igbira Taho, we so nickname them because that is their greeting, Wao Taho. So they are 243. The Kakanda, they were 299. The Oworo. Yes, the British pronounce Oworo because they cannot pronounce Oworo. They say Aworo. They say Aworo. So the Aworos were few. They were just 72. The Basange were few. They were 49 because we have already explained that the Aworos fled Mount Party to the Agbaja Plateau, while the Basange fled across the River Niger to the eastern bank. So they are few. They are today they are few in Lokoja. So then we have the Basakomo. They were 10. Basakomo, they used to feed us with yam. They are largely farmers. They live in Koto district and they farm well. Yam, guinea corn. So then Lokoja rely on the suburb to bring food. Then the total population of Lokoja as at 1935 was 6,137. I got this table from the archive. And then it's also in Gibbs. So you can see source, NAC, National Archive Kaduna, 25 June 1935. So then the general outlook in Lokoja. AD early 2008 proceeds that there is a high degree of political and socio-cultural intercourse among the first settlers or aborigines in Lokoja, the Oworo, Basangenupe, and Hausa. These four groups, let's see, AD early 2008 proceed that the Hausa are the most populated. They control the politics, religion, and commerce of Lokoja. The Hausa language is the lingua franca in Lokoja. There is a high degree of intermarriage among the Aborigine ethnic group. You see, in Lokoja, it is difficult to find a family where the mother, the father, the children are all Hausa. That is the truth. You see somebody came from, they call Kukuruku Edonot. Here is married, the girl is married to an Hausa man. The girl is a Christian. She's still going to her church. And the man is a Muslim, and he's still practicing his religion. There are very many here. So that is why we cannot have religious crisis here, uprising, no. So AD Ali 2014 noted that other ethnic groups referred here as migrants are Igala, Yoruba, Egbura, Egburakoto, Ebirataho, Afema, Igbo, Tiv. They came to Lokoja to settle in the colonial period. The truth is that these people came as migrant labor. Till today, the best bricklayer and carpenter we have in Lokoja, they are Ibirataho bricklayer. If you are looking for a good bricklayer, they will tell you, go and call Ibira man or carpenter. Yes, that is their profession. They are resourceful, very hardworking. You understand? They never resided. When I was doing my first degree, 1988, I interviewed Oguche. He is the Serikin Igala, the head of Igala community. He said, no, this is not our town. It doesn't belong to us. We are not here. Me, I even came as a farmer. If you see any Igala here, it's a farmer. That was before August 27, 1991, creation of Kogi State. So, but let's however, the Hausa language is spoken by everybody. The Lokoja, the child born in Lokoja native town naturally can speak a minimum of 2 or 3 Nigerian languages. I cast news in Yoruba, Isoko Alaroye, I cast news in Hausa, Gaskiata Pikobo, then English. I'm a journalist before I became a lecturer. So that is the Lokoja child, highly sociable, highly interactive, and they believe in personal freedom. And so don't even attempt to oppress them, they will resist you. So you are enjoying peace today in Lokoja. Just let peace reign. Allow the sleeping dog lie. Now, the European factor in Lokoja. Dr. David Bake's colony in Lokoja. Some people will erroneously state, they talk ignorantly. They say, Lokoja was founded by the British. Lokoja is the nature of Lokoja made its social life very interesting from 1854. Why 1854? Now, every Lokoja child want to behave like Oyibo man, because look at Oyibo, look at the way they move. You know, they don't fetch firewood. They don't poo on the River Niger or in the bush. They have toilet. So they are very neat and they wear correct shoes. And so that makes, you see, that impacted on the Lokoja child. That makes him highly sociable. And then he can marry from anywhere. He doesn't care. So because of the large number of Europeans in Lokoja, the town was nicknamed Garimbaturi, meaning European populated town. You can go on excursion. There are many cemeteries in Lokoja where the whites, exclusively the whites, you see European cemetery, European cemetery, European cemetery. That gives credence to the evidence that there were a large number of Europeans who lived in Lokoja. In fact, read Pedraza 1960, it says Lokoja is the first British settlement in Nigeria. In fact, in West Africa, the first, apart from Sierra Leone, Liberia, which was a slave colony. So Lokoja native town comprised of quarters in Hamza that we have, quarters are named in Hausa as earlier noted. James Gibbs, 1965, states that occupational titles Sana'a and traditional titles in Lokoja and in Hausa language are shown below on table 3. Occupational titles in Lokoja. You have Sarkin Alaru. If you don't have handwork and you are not employed, go to market and carry loads. You are an Alaru. At least you can earn a living by carrying load for people. There were no kidnappers then. There were no armed robbers. So there were no ritual murderers, killers. So go and do Alaru, you get money. So these are the people. Sarki Alaru, they have chief, that is head of the guild of potters. That is Sarkin Alaru. Sarki Aski, also Aska. That is in Hausa language. Every word in Hausa, you have plural, you have singular. So the chief barber, you see people going about with knife. If you want to barb, there were no barber salon then. So they can, if you want to shave, you want to barb, they use their knife to shave you. They use their knife to barb you. They are still doing it. Then Serki Baka, chief hunter. Yes, there's a large number of hunters. And when they are doing their local journey, they have a group. You see them, very interesting. They perform. Sarki Dawaki, also Uban Dawaki and Madawaki. That is the chief war officer. That is Minister of Defense. Sarki Pada, Chief Kotia. Those who follow, when you go to the go to Megari Palace, the King's Palace, you see them, they wear multicolored dress, agbada, the flowing gown, red and green. They are there. They have Sarki. They walk in rotation on turn. Sarki Gandu, this supervisor of a Runji. Sarki, it's not Sarking, it's Sarki. There is no end there. But you know, this is from the archive. So it was the way the British wrote it. It's Sarki Hausawa, leader of Hausa community settled outside Hausa land. Sarki Karma. Now, in Lokoja, for instance, you don't need Sarki Hausawa because the Megari is Hausa and will continue to be, and in fact, the most populated. They will continue to Sarki Karma, title for the leader of youth, like youth leader. Then Sarki Karufi, chief of the dyers. They dye clothes. In the past, we don't wear foreign clothes. We dye our clothes and we wear, but we abandon our culture. Sarki Kaswa, chief market officer. Compared to Yoruba, you have Iyaloja. Surfing marketer, head of the guild of musicians. Meikida, one, Meikida, Makada, plural. Sarki Makera, head of the guild of smiths, blacksmiths. They have the group of blacksmiths, the head. So this is taken from Gibbs 1965. Thanks for listening.
Wow. The bamboozling is troubling. You'll almost feel that if you didn't study or if you are not studying history, you are finished. Can you help me put your hands together one more time for the man that says he's the only professional historian around here? I'm glad that I said that before the Vice Chancellor came in. Ladies and gentlemen, could you help me put your hands together for the Vice Chancellor of Federal University Lokoja, Professor Olaimi Akinwumi. And while Professor Ali made his presentation, the Dean of Student Affairs also walked in a historian. Can you put your hands together for him also? And quite a number of other very, very senior members of this university community. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Edi Ali has told us that every other person is a visitor in Lokoja, but they are allowed to stay, sir. And he tried to establish that the people of Lokoja may not necessarily be the ones who are the first settlers, that there were others. And he has said many other things. But I said, we'll wait, as if I knew that the Vice Chancellor was going to come, because I'm sure today, not today. He told me when we started that we should watch out. Lokoja will be set on fire because people are going to ask a lot of questions. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, that is Professor A.D. Ali's presentation at the maiden edition of the Department of History seminar. Please, a round of applause. Thank you very much. I'm sure the Vice Chancellor will make one statement or two, and thereafter we can open up the floor for just two questions, and then we'll close it up. Please, a round of applause for the Vice Chancellor.
Thank you, sir. Let me start by congratulating the Department of History for this seminar series. I hope it will not be the last. Yeah, I don't think it's also very good to just allow two people to respond to this interesting dissertation. Let me also congratulate him for it takes a lot of guts to come up and give a presentation on something that is very controversial. I want to congratulate him on that point. But I don't have access to the paper. Let me just look at it from 2 points of view. I think it's not necessary to argue that history is a science. All disciplines are scientific in nature. In Germany, there is nothing like art, science, or something. Even if you are in Arabic or Yoruba, it's a science discipline. You understand? It's only in Nigeria we have this tied something that this is science, this is something. I tell you, when I was in Calgary, history was never in faculty art. History is under faculty of science, University of Calgary. You go to University of Legon, history is under social something. You understand? So there is no need to start arguing that all disciplines are scientific. You understand? And secondly, I still believe that you need to also consult EHK. EHK said history is science, no more, no less. Yeah, you need to read it. That is from the point of the scientific nature of the history that we are trying very hard to convince people that history is science. All disciplines are science in nature, but it is our inquiry that differs. You understand? Two, I don't have access to your paper. I don't know whether you have gone through any work done by Carol Panaki. Caroline has done a lot of work on Lokoja. I think I don't have access to your paper. So yeah, you can know about the access to the paper. Then 1986, in this town, Lokoja was still a local government under Kwara State. My late Professor Adiobayemi organized a wonderful conference there on Lokoja and the surrounding. You understand? The papers are still available. It was a multidisciplinary approach to Lokoja. And secondly, because I don't have access to your paper, I don't know whether you have consulted any of the archaeological work. Because when we are talking about origin of something, there is a need for us to also, because history is multidisciplinary, there is a need for you to consult the archaeological work. Many archaeological works have been done on this area. Then the issue of whether I normally ask, Lokoja is in another climb. I should say that I'm from Lokoja because I was born in Lokoja. You understand? But the point is that, what is Lokoja? Where is Lokoja? That is the issue. This River Niger has played prominent roles in the history of Nigeria. And look at anywhere you have this this big river, you have different settlements. You understand? People claiming that they are original settler of one place or the other. You understand? It is politics that is bringing up some of these things. You understand? It's politics that is bringing up most of these things. But the point is that as a historian, you also know that where can we find the core component of that in Nigeria? We see that because of the access, the River Niger played a prominent role, especially in the intergroup relation. That is why we have many migration to this place today. I won't want to delve into the issue of who is the original settler of this place, but I think it is beyond some of the things you have said. Then thirdly, sir, history presentation. Most of the time, let us take out our sentimental, you understand, out of it. Because I see the passion you are putting, it's a lie, something like, no, it's a science class, don't say something is a lie. Knowledge, what is knowledge? Knowledge is controversy and debate. Once that is not there, it's no longer knowledge. You understand? I can stand up today and say that Lokoja was established by my father. And everybody knows that people will start doing research. That's why we say knowledge, controversy, and debate. You understand? Like my late professor always say that. By the say you say Lokoja town of the dove and something like that. My professor told me that yes, somebody can misinterpret anything. Like he told us that London, England, that England was established by a Yoruba woman. And we open our mouth. He said, yeah, that's what you want to hear. He said, the woman came home one day and said, what are you doing there? She said, Igilandi. You understand? He said, that's how it is corrupted to mean England. So anything can be corrupted. So I also want us to be very careful about the way we twist some of this words. You understand? The way we twist some of this words. And that's why I'm challenging anybody that something has not been done in Lokoja, place names. Not some of these place names. Let somebody do a research work. Why is this place called Kabawa? Why is this place called where is this place? There is historical connection with it. You understand? Place name and the historical significance. There are many things in Lokoja that we can unearth by going to this place name something. So many things, if I had access to the paper, I will have done more than this. But I think it's a good start. Thank you.
Igilandi. You know, knowledge is controversy and debate. Our minds are open to interrogate this paper. Professor M.S. Aldu goes next.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, let me join you to appreciate Professor Ali for the onslaught and for being the pioneer. Following what you have said, you know, he had emphasized earlier objectivity and scientificity of history. And we could see the passion, emotion that's not attached to his presentation and leaning towards a particular ethnic group. And I'm sure when he mentioned it, there are other ethnic groups here that were just shrugging and then eager to talk. Where you say it is the land of the dove, and some will say it is Ilukojo. Am I correct? Yes. And then the orals will tell you that yes, it is. And I can see you here nodding your head. And so just like the Vice Chancellor said, it's a very topical issue, and that should have been in the of objectivity. Having said this, I would like to say, Mr. Vice Chancellor, presenter, as you were talking, you relegated an ethnic group in the list of your presentation. And I can give you another side of it, and that is the Biratao. For me, I'm a progenitor of the Ata. I am. And I can tell you, tracing the origin and then the attachment of the Ata dynasty, and then that completely eclipsed it. The Wazir in Lokoja they were killing Lokoja and all of that. The first was instituted by the Atta. That was completely omitted. And then the Igala will also tell you that they are enrooted here, right from, and they tell you they are the owners of this place. So what it means is that Oworo, Basange, that you have mentioned, the Igalas will tell you they are not near claiming originality of this place. Recall the areas of the dominance of the Atta in the last episode of even up to the Niger and all of that. Having said this, I would like to appreciate what we have done so far. And just like the Vice Chancellor said, asking two persons to talk will not really address it. And then also resting your matter in the manner you have presented it, that you have spoken and you have spoken with finality, does not also close the matter. The matter is a beginning for another matter that can be discussed. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh boy. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of academy. The matter is just about to start. Let's take the Dean of Student Affairs.
My basic sir, my amiable HOD, thank you for your presentation. Sorry, I was settling matters. That's why I came in late. The portion I had, I was shaking. But I also decided to say, well, we'll forgive you because you are not a student of intergroup relation. I studied Lokoja just the same way you did. Like I did in my historiography class, I always tell students, detach yourself from your ethnicity so that you can write real history. Ali has forgotten his origin and decided to say Hausa. In intergroup relation, there's what we call along the Niger-Benue waterways. And we have what we call cooling stations. What we call cooling stations are stations where migrant traders come to relax and over time develop into a settlement. Lokoja is not just that. Itobe is one of it. Ida is also one of it. And you have pockets of settlement along the Niger-Benue that have same semblance. If you meet a Kakanda person in Ida, he will tell you it's an Igala person. And so if you say the house has owned, they are merely Kulano sellers who were relaxing here for their transit to the south. And so the prominence of the Hausa was because the forebearers of Megeri were messengers. And when the British, having seen the onslaught of the attack, who was so hard to be cracked, was looking for how to break his political hegemony, decided to turn around and say, who can we? And this messenger was available. That's what Megeri coming. If you check the history of Lokoja, till this minute, there are serious contentions and controversies about that stool, Megeri. The Abiga, they are talking every day. I know you know of the Abiga group. They are also indigenous of Lokoja. The Oworo cannot be waved aside by the wave of hand. They were actually settling here. It was because they are kinsmen. And who are these kinsmen? The Igala. Asking them for, how do we call it? Royalty. Often tribute that decided to move away from where they will not have easy access to them. The Basanges that came in and the Basankomos that came in the 1840 felt they can't give royalty if they are fully protected, and they cross over. And they enjoy that up to today. So, sir, history is just like when your own starts, ends, the other person's own is about to begin from there. Thank you for your own contribution. That's your own aspect of history. I will continue to follow you. By the time I do my inaugural, perhaps we'll see more of that. Thank you.
Oh, boy. All right. It's getting even more interesting, but it's good to know that knowledge, just like the Vice Chancellor established, is controversy and debate. There may be no finality. As a matter of fact, the research just got started. Immediate past head of department.
Let me thank the Vice Chancellor for his presence. And I also want to thank the present HOD. In fact, for the past 4 years, I've been the head of department. The only thing I could not do was this seminar present. And I want to say kudos to Professor Adi Ali to commence this departmental seminar series. Just like the Vice Chancellor said, I hope it will not be the end. The topic in question is highly controversial, just like every other speakers have said. And from your presentation, there is sentiment attached to your presentation. And as historians, we used to tell our students, detach yourself from your research. Because where you don't detach yourself from your research, it's no longer history. If you look at the presentation, all that according to Adi Ali, according to Adi Ali, according to Adi Ali. There were others before Adi Ali now. To them, that's academic. Academic. So I want to thank you very much. Just like every other person have said, it is controversial. You have thrown a bomb. You will receive the share later. Thank you very much.
Well, I am sure he's equal to the task, sir. And then we'll be welcoming, sir, Dr. Tosin, the head of linguistics and African languages.
The Vice Chancellor, sir, and other senior, very senior colleagues in the House. Professor Adi Ali, thank you very much for the presentation. I'm going to speak from this perspective of language, linguistics. Yes, the Vice Chancellor and Professor M.S. Audu have mentioned something, and that is study of the names of places. In linguistics, we call it toponyms, all right? So the study of name places. And I'm glad to tell you that one of our students in 400 level now is working on names of places in Lokoja. Yes, as it's a project. So I think there is the need to research into that. Like the VC mentioned, why do we call a particular place Takanda? Why do we call a particular place Paparanda? Why do we call a particular place Mount Patsy? You know? So, and so on, like that. Number 2 point I would like to raise, sir. You talked about the fact that Hausa is the lingua franca in Lokoja. I beg to disagree with that. Lokoja being a multilingual setting or society, maybe at best, if we say what we tag such language in linguistics, language of wider communication, all right? Not the lingua franca or what's called the language of the place. When I got to Lokoja, I didn't, as somebody who speaks Hausa very fluently, I didn't even come in contact with anybody that spoke Hausa to me. All right, at least for the first 1 year that I spent in Lokoja. I see people speak Igala, Ebira, and Okun. Nupe, yes, very good. Even the person that we did translation together for NTA, Lokoja, he is a Nupe man, but he speaks very good Hausa. He writes in Hausa. He was the one doing the translation in Hausa. So I think, sir, you may like to look into that. To say Hausa is the lingua franca of Lokoja. Finally, sir, the issue of Serikin this, Serikin that that you mentioned in the course of your presentation. In the Hausa lexicon, all right, there is the in sound when you are talking that somebody is the chief of something. Serikin Noma, the is there, sir. But you said it with all authority that it's not there. So in the study of language, we have it there. I speak Hausa, for instance. So, and Serikin this means the chief of this, and it means there are others. There are others who are into that kind of thing. It's just that the leader of that thing is the Serikin this or Serikin that. And the issue of Alaru is Yoruba word. So I don't know how it comes with Serikin Alaru. I'm trying to rack my brain around that. Thank you very much for the presentation, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. We will take it further now from the Department of History. Let's keep going, sir.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, the guest lecturer, all senior colleagues here, and every other person that is here. First of all, I want to commend Professor Edi Ali, my HOD, for his scientific presentation on the historicity of Lokoja. The presenter made a very, very serious and demeaning comment about the tea people of central Nigeria, the most dominant group in north central Nigeria, the greatest known farmers in this country. You said in 1923, the tea people migrated to Lokoja, and the job they were doing was to be carrying sheets, that they will make sheep toilets, and that is what they came to do. And I was hearing that for the first time. And hence we are looking at the scientificity. I first of all want to query the scientificity of that statement with the following observations. First, before the tea people came to Lokoja in 1923, who are the people who were doing that job before? That is one. And two, later in your presentation, you mentioned many other tribes that later came to Lokoja, and you said that they were all migrant workers. The Iberatao and all those things, Igala and the rest. I don't know why of all this, none of them was doing that job. It was the tea people. And in addition to that, I want to know the source. I'm querying the source of that information. Because as a historian, I want to know, is it from the British records? Or is it from maybe the far north, the House of Fulani source? If it's from the British, I will let you know that they are not very cordial with us, the tea people. Because when they were colonizing the Niger Benue Valley, the tea people were the only people that gave them the toughest time. And the tea people were the last people they subdued in the whole of this area. Because we were large in number, but because we did not have a central chief, it was very difficult for them to conquer us. But for many other tribes, when you have like the Juku and the Re, when the king was conquered, every other person will fall in line. So they have the British historiography about the tea people is questionable. If the source is maybe from the House of Fulani side, I will also have my reservation because, you know, during the jihad, they came and the tea people, there was a very serious struggle. We were struggling with them until the British came. They didn't subdue us. And that is why there is no emirate in our own area. So I would like my HOD to throw more light on that so that, in fact, I want to suggest that he should take it out because after this, I'm going to meet him so that I want to understand that very well. And that will be the continuation of the debate and the research we are talking about. Thank you all.
All right, thank you very much. The Vice Chancellor has directed that we take just 2 more, and so I'll be inviting Professor Ademo, and then 1 more.
Thank you very much, MC. My Vice Chancellor, sir. Other members of the high table, distinguished professors here, other colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen. Let me also go the line of congratulating Professor Idi. He's my brother. And I'm happy to witness his presentation as the pioneer, seminar meant of history and international studies, sir. I think there's an attachment. So I will plead with the department, please keep it up, because this is the essence of academic work. Yeah, students, you can now see it. You may think you have done the best, not before the body of scholars. He has tried, honestly speaking, in went into research. I'm a mass communicator. I'm not a historian, but I've learned a lot from the presentation. So it's a stepping stone. Somebody must take the first step. Others will now follow. Otherwise, learning will not continue. I remember one of my lecturers way back in Delta State University, Abraka. He taught me the curse. And in that course, he mentioned something. He said, you provoke controversies and controvert existing provocations. We were all confused. I was in 200 level then. I almost had a headache. What was he talking about? Something, you can raise an argument. It will challenge others. And that argument may also contradict what is existing. I want to suggest something to the department. Please, I crave your indulgence, historians. I hope I will not commit an error. As I was listening to the presentation, something was occurring in my mind. Most of the names that he was mentioning seems to have something to do with the Hausas. At what point was that transition made? I think that is something for you to chew. At what point was that transition made? What was happening before then? Is it that the Hausas changed what was existing and they started giving their names to these things? I think that is another direction that another scholar can look at. And Mr. Vice Chancellor, thank you for clarifying the fact that this argument about we are science, it's just that people don't understand. Professor Samson Victor Duga, I'm sure you know him, was presenting his inaugural in theater arts. The title, the inaugural, the science, everybody was looking at him. He mentioned exactly what you said. I know you schooled in Germany. He also did his PhD in Germany. Exactly what the Vice Chancellor said. So I don't know why in Nigeria we are breaking our heads over who is science and who is not a scientist. I rest my case.
Thank you, Chancellor, sir. We will just take the last response from the Director of National Museum. Sir, just make it brief, please.
The Vice Chancellor, sir, professors here present, senior lecturers here present, students, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rufus Elap, the Director of National Museum here in Lokoja. I was trying to suppress myself when my bosses were talking. I'm a student here doing my master's. My background is science. I read physics, but here I am today in this noble department. I am here on fact-finding mission. Fact-finding mission in the sense that when I looked at the topic, I said it's a most attended seminar. And that is why I am here. Because the controversy that surrounds who owns Lokoja has been there for long. And we are finding it difficult as an organization to tell people who is the rightful owner of Lokoja. But like I said, my Vice Chancellor, sir, and others said that where somebody ends his journey, another person takes it from there. And that is the truth of the whole thing. I really want to appreciate my HOD for this. If not for this piece, some of us that have spoken wouldn't have spoken. But issues or issue has been raised. And so, if you are provoked, like one of my professors said, if you are provoked, then you start something from where he has stopped. On that note, I want to say a very big congratulations to Professor Ali and those that are in attendance. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir. From
Yes, I remember in one of the inaugural I attended, Professor, our VC, the elder scholar, was telling us that if you are presenting inaugural, the inaugural is to showcase your work, your handwork, your skill. What have you been doing all the years? Are you not published? You are presenting inaugural and you are citing Otto, Watarodne, W. Roburoso, Udiko. You didn't cite yourself. So I decided to cite myself. Yes. Dr. Yo, there were other people that were carrying sheets, but they were unwilling laborers. They were unwilling laborers. They are not willing. You'll be looking for people to help you carry your bucket of sheet and they are not available. But the two people came and they were readily available. So that was why they came about 1901, but it was in 1923 that the Megere of Lokoja gave them that quarter to leave. So I have the archival documents, but you can go to Kaduna Archive. It's there. Oyibo man don't lie. They write what they see. No, it's a product of research. So yes, Professor Alemo, you provoke provocation. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, the essence of this seminar is to provoke scholasticism. When I took over as HOD, I told my colleagues that we are no longer just going to be producing graduates, we are going to produce scholars. So every paragraph, especially postgraduate students, every paragraph makes citation, otherwise it's rubbish. That is why I am making citation. And if I can't see anything to cite, I cite myself. All right. Yes. The director of National Museum, he wants to know who is the rightful owner of Lokoja. Who want to collect Lokoja? Who is the person? You want to claim that you are the owner. It's your property. You want to pocket it. It's not possible. We say that Lokoja is a multi-ethnic settlement. So what are you asking? You want to know the real owner. Please, I beg you, give peace a chance. All of you are here today because there is peace. Don't try anything. One night is enough to abolish all of you. Yes, I'm telling you the truth. Keep peace. I'm not saying you don't do your research. I have been writing since 1986, and I didn't provoke any war because I try as much as possible to investigate. I interview people. I collaborate with secondary sources. But when you keep probing and say, oh, we want to find out who owns Lokoja. No, Igala owns Lokoja. Then you are looking for trouble. They can wake up one night, eliminate all the Igalas and say it's Boko Haram. So what will you do? You understand? Leave it now. They say it's a multi-ethnic town. Leave it at that. You are finding out who is the particular person you are looking for trouble. You understand? It's okay. No problem. You say you are the owner, you want to claim it. It's okay. Many have gone. No wahala. Yes. History cannot be detached, you know. Yeah, no problem. So we want this exercise to continue as a monthly exercise. Dr. Rose is here. We want her to do the next seminar on gender. Because you remember that former President Muhammadu Buhari said that the kitchen is the office for women. So, and the women say no. So that it generates a serious argument because we have women here who don't want to end their career in the kitchen. So Dr. Rose will handle that. The next, Dr. Andrew Mariam Borok is going to tell us about the sociocultural history of Africa. In fact, Borok is an expert on Africa as a whole. So we have Associate Professor Fidelis Achoba. Unfortunately, he took ill, but we hope he will get better. He's going to tell us, when you, Professor Abdullah, you say you are an expert in intergroup. It's okay. You and Associate Professor Achoba will meet, because he specializes in Nigerian history, and he knows much about intergroup relations. So maybe you can author a paper for us, and so that would be a good one. So you can organize something like this for us. Intergroup relation. Yes, it's not my calling. I'm doing my calling now. My visit, sir, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this privilege. Thank you, sir. And I always speak of you, and I say I want anybody that go to school, especially history, I refer them to Professor Akinomi. He's a scholar, and that's why he's a VC. He wouldn't have been VC, I'm telling you the truth. He came and beat everybody and became VC. So we are grateful, sir. Our MC is itching to collect the mark from me. So I thank you all. I'm grateful. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, thank you. There was an issue raised, and he has not addressed it, but let me just give an answer to that. Somebody said, why do you have everything in Hausa language? I think somebody said, but it's as a result, a deliberate policy, European policy. You understand? To do that, because for those of us in history, for a long time, even the colonial officers, the DO, ADO that were posted to this place, they must pass Hausa language before they can be promoted. And I remember the colonial officer, the district officer in Kaba, protested that no, it is not fair that those in the Hausa land, they have direct access, they speak Hausa to the other people. But in Kaba, there's nobody to speak Hausa to. So it's not fair. When you have this Hausa, especially from the 1900s, it was a deliberate colonial policy. Because they promoted it, and that is why in most of the colonial countries, you see Hausa language. So that's as simple as that. Somebody also mentioned, and I want to appreciate the person linguistic that is writing. I would like to see the word writing on place name. People don't even know that Paparanda there is named after are we going to say is our contribution, our corporate social responsibility to Lokoja? Challenge them. If we cannot do a studies in Kogi history, we should be able to do something on Lokoja history. Many things to write Lokoja history. And I thank God that the museum man is there. 1986, I will still make reference to it. Professor Adeobayemi was a former DG. We organized a powerful conference on Lokoja Riverine area display. You understand? but we are the document now. I don't know whether they are still in national museum. I don't know. But it's very, very important. Let us also note that people don't just wave them away. The Kakanda are very, very important in this act. The Kakanda, they were basically the transporter, do I call them transporter? Yes, seafarers. They were responsible for most of the migrants that they were able to, yes, they brought many of them here. So people, I don't know, people, I expect people to have done it, fantastic work on the Kakanda people and things like that. It's only that some of us, because of administrative something, I cannot do those type, go about studying. I used to have documents on the Kakanda people, very important people in this case. So I think this is what we can do. So there are many areas that we can try to assist Kogi State or try to assist Lokoja to bring out some of these important something that we are neglecting today, and it's to our own detriment. Seriously speaking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chancellor. And with that closing remark, we are a few minutes away from leaving this hall. In the end, it is academia. All of these are to enrich the paper, make it better, and all of us will have something to make reference to. One more time, can you please put your hands together for the pioneer presenter in the history department, Professor A.D. Ali. In a moment, will we rise to take group photograph? That will be the Vice Chancellor, the presenter, the Vice Chancellor with the presenter first, members of the high table, the Dean of Students, immediate past head of department, and all of us. The Vice Chancellor first. All right. Are you taking the pictures? Okay. Okay, please, members of the high table, could you join the Vice Chancellor, please? Dean of Students, professors, and staff of the Department of History, please could you It is the maiden edition of the departmental seminar. Please, all staff, please could you kindly join. Okay. All right. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, can you put your hands together one more time? Yes. Dr. Ruth. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm sure that's the representation of the Megiri of Lokoja walking in. Thank you for coming, sir. Thank you very much. The Megiri of Lokoja, ably represented at this meeting. Thank you very much.